The Phoenix Suns took an L today, but Khaman Maluach showed a lot that we could be excited about. We're talking about that after this.
Yeah, I kind of forgot they lost.
What's up? What's happening? Welcome into the PHNX Suns show. Gil here with Erik, and we got Shane. I would say behind the mag. Yeah, behind the mag. He's just not behind what we're usually used to.
Smaller
He's here. He's
wow.
Here, making it happen. It is a post-game Summer League edition of the PHNX Suns show. The Suns did drop an 81-75 decision to the New Orleans Pelicans.
Who cares?
But it's the Summer League. It's not really about the end result. Typically, we're about wins and losses. It's more fun to win, obviously, but it's much more fun when there's a lot to take away from the game, and we have a lot to take away from what we saw from one Khaman Maluach.
Yeah, shout out to the guy going beast mode behind us, sipping on wine at the sports book, not bothered by these bright lights at all. Absolute beast mode.
No Jared Allen.
Shout out to Khaman Maluach. I'm glad everybody joined us for the Khaman Maluach propaganda hour because he's too good for Summer League.
That's what you wanted to see.
That is 1,000,000% the number one thing that I wanted to see going into this weekend in Vegas. Khaman Maluach, even at the beginning of the game, Gil, was not statistically dominant. He grabbed a lot of rebounds.
It was the boards.
But he was still the best player on the court. And you and I talked about it. We were watching. It might have been Cedric Howard or one of the other games. And we talked about how some guys – you can just tell by the way they move on the court that they're too good for Summer League. It doesn't always have to be stats necessarily, but then the stats came for Khaman Maluach as well. 15 points, 15 rebounds, 0 turnovers, 2 blocks, a steal, and 2 of 4 from deep. That is quite literally a perfect game from Khaman Maluach.
Absolutely. Plus 10 in the box score as well. I know we talk about Summer League plus minus being something that's funny to acknowledge, but it is the air of confidence that somebody moves with when you think about them not looking like they belong out there in a complimentary manner, looking like they have the experience under their belt, looking like the game is not too fast for them anymore. A lot of the things that we're saying with Khaman Maluach, piecing them together, he's doing it in real time. There's a lot to be said about what he learned during the postseason playing against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You hear him. He's the loudest person in the gym. He's constantly talking. He's always saying whatever it is, whether he's telling somebody about a screen, whether he's telling somebody, hey, don't worry about that call, let's get to the next play, whether he's telling Kobe Bryant to heat somebody up when he's picking them up full court.
Dude, he was screaming at Kobe Bryant.
All of these things he's doing, like you just hear, and I said this, I tweeted, I was like, man, I want to hear Khaman Maluach mic'd up just because that's just what we could hear from where we were sitting. He's definitely just saying much, much, much more than that, and that's the comfort level as well. He seems very comfortable out there, recognizes his role and what's expected of him, and he's doing it well 2 games in a row.
Yeah, he's not forcing anything, right? It doesn't look unnatural. He's letting the game come to him. He's not going out there and launching threes off the start. I don't even know if he had a three-pointer attempted in the first half. I think they all came in the second half, and this is a player that the game has slowed down for him. He talked about that in general after last game. And if he can bring even bits and pieces of what we've seen in Summer League, because, again, and I know this is the propaganda hour and it's not a hot start to it for me to say, well, this is just Summer League, right? Because it is just Summer League.
Pick a side.
It is just Summer League. No, I won't. It is just Summer League, and to expect Khaman Maluach to play like this in the NBA this season is probably a stretch, even though it's certainly possible. We've seen him play really, really well and have
a stretch big.
And he's had good minutes. He is a stretch big at this point. I mean, that jumper looks smooth. If he can bring just bits and pieces of that, the rebounding, finishing around the rim, and being able to pop out for the occasional three, that is an immediate plus for the Suns, an immediate role player for the Suns, and obviously, Gil, at just 19 years old, he's going to continue to get better. That's the big thing, is so many people were calling this kid a bust. They were calling him like a terrible draft pick because he didn't play a lot last year, right? I always found that ridiculous. Is it promised that Khaman Maluach works out? No, it's not. It's certainly a gamble. He's a developmental project, but he's young. He's been playing basketball for about half of a decade now. And I, for one, am just floored that all of a sudden he's getting a little better after a season in the NBA and to develop. What a shock.
It's crazy. I've never seen that ever happen before. It's a wonder that happened that way. But genuinely thinking about that with Khaman Maluach and what you were saying is not necessarily what you want to expect or what you want to have the expectations of this being what we see right away. But I had a thought during the game that you got glimpses of what at his best he can be in the NBA.
Right.
A guy who is making his presence felt on the defensive end of the floor, whether it's making people adjust their shots, whether it's blocking shots, whether it's making people think twice about what they want to do offensively, blowing up plays, being confident in his screen and roll defense as well. On the offensive side of things, running the floor, knocking down an open shot when people dare him to shoot it. If he can be the type of shooter in his two second halves in a row where he's made as 3 threes on Friday in second half and then 2 threes today. So I believe it's like 5 of 8 from three-point range in the second half in the last 2 games.
That's not bad.
It's a pretty good clip to be shooting the 3-ball at, and it's all happening with confidence. That's the biggest thing because confidence is going to come with the things that he's doing, and this is what Summer League is really about. It's the reps that you get, but also the confidence of saying, hey, I can do this. I can do this against guys who I know I'm better than, and that means I'm on the same level as the guys who I'm going to be expected to play against in October, in November, and hopefully April and May next year as well.
Everybody's going to say, well, not everybody, but a lot of people say, oh, well, Summer League doesn't matter. And obviously there's a certain extent to how much Summer League does matter. What it does matter for is guys like Khaman Maluach, if they showed up, and let's say Khaman had a terrible first 2 games. Let's say he turned the ball over a ton the first game, not allowed the second game. We got to talk about that. But let's just say he kept on turning the ball over. He wasn't grabbing rebounds. He was getting out physical. He didn't really look like he belonged on the court, but in a bad way, that would matter, right? That would really matter. He's showing up. He's being really good. Do we know if it will translate to the NBA? We don't, but I would argue that we saw flashes of what we're seeing now in the NBA last year. The rim deterrence, man. I mean, watching this kid in person, so many shots aren't taken because Khaman Maluach is in the vicinity of a player. It's not even just a never mind where somebody's got a wide open, shot at the hoop and they don't take it because Maluach is there. But it's like these small little things that you might not even notice on TV where you'll see a player's eyes as they're driving in or they're looking and they see Khaman Maluach is either rotating or Khaman Maluach is on them. And those eyes will look up for a shot and immediately their brain goes, no, and they pass it out. That type of defensive impact, and I saw that a little bit with Rasheer when he was guarding players today as well, that can't be taught.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can't teach that. You can't teach certain intangibles, and the biggest one that he has is that he's the biggest guy on the court at all times. That somebody tapped me during the game and said, how tall is number 10?
Somebody did ask you that.
And I was like, he's like 7'1", 7'2", and that's one of the first things you notice, quite obviously, when you see Khaman Maluach in person is just how much space he takes up with his size and his length. And then it's a matter of learning how to use that size and that length. I think he hasn't even scratched the surface as far as being able to do that on the defensive end of the floor. But just by being there and putting his arms out like this or putting his arms up like that, it discourages so many different people. You think twice, you think 3 times about what's going on with your drive, with the driving angles that you want to take and things like that. So just imagine when he starts to understand more of the terminology and more of the angles and more of the things and becoming an elite defender. But he has the things that can't be taught. He already has, and he's shown that he's really adept at learning the things that can be taught pretty quickly because the year-over-year improvement that he's made, not just last year, this year, but every year of his basketball career, which hasn't even been that long, is something that's impressive and should show that he has a lot more room to grow, and he's going to do it.
Only 3 fouls for him today, which is good in Summer League. Summer League, first of all, these are Summer League officials as well, and I'm not trying to rip on them, but they're quick to blow that whistle sometimes. And to be a big, to be contesting these shots, to have guys that, he is still getting attacked off the dribble. It's not like every single time that somebody is around Khaman Maluach, they're not taking a shot. Like, Khaman had to contest a lot. One of those fouls was he slapped somebody's arm when he was contesting a shot, and he was like, that's on me, that's on me. Right, which was good that he acknowledged it. That was a stupid foul, but he's not out there, deterring all these shots, but then also fouling 5, 6, 7 times in Summer League, right? Only 2 blocks tonight, but he today, but he certainly could have had more if guys did try him a little bit. But the number one thing I was impressed by today with Khaman Maluach was not the 15 points. It was not the 15 rebounds. It was not him going 2 of 4 from deep. It was none of that. Not the blocks, not the steals. It was something that has a 0 on the box score. 0 turnovers for Khaman Maluach, and that's something that he said to us post-game in his availability that he had been working on. We can hear him say it now.
The turnovers and being able to take care of the ball. I feel like I turned the ball over a lot yesterday. I feel like we did a better job today of me taking care of the ball. And that's something like I got to emphasize a lot, being able to take care of the ball, especially being a young big. I mean, when the season gets here in the NBA, I know a lot of people are going to pressure up into me and try to make me turn over the ball. And just got to be able to take care of the ball so that my coach can trust me with the ball.
7 turnovers, so he felt like he turned the ball over a lot in the first game. He did. He had 7, right? You go out today and you have 0. And they were giving him a lot of attention. He had the ball in his hands a lot. Gillett, as a player, to have such a clear flaw as far as these turnovers go, and it's kind of been the thing with man-to-man when he would get NBA minutes, how important is it to get a game like this, get a rep like this, where you have a massively successful showing and you limit that biggest vulnerability in your game?
It shows a willingness to listen and to learn and to focus on the bad and not just the good that's happening. It's not just basketball, but anything. You don't ever want to make the same mistake twice. You want to focus on the things that you do poorly and key in on that. And him saying it, and what stood out to his answer was, 1, I did it too much on Friday. I wanted to correct that. And then he said, and I know that next season when it rolls around, teams are going to try to make me uncomfortable. Teams are going to try to make me turn the ball over. So he's not just thinking about, hey, I'm going to dominate the New Orleans Pelicans on July 12th. He's saying, hey, I need to do this against the New Orleans Pelicans this way so Coach Jordan can trust me when the season rolls around, and I want to get minutes at this center position next to Devin Booker, next to Jalen Green, next to Dillon Brooks. These guys are playing for something. These guys are at a different level of their career. This is winning time for those guys. I want to be able to contribute to that as a second-year player, and I have to focus on my weaknesses right now when I get these reps and have no wasted reps out here in Summer League so that when I leave Las Vegas, whether I play 2 games, 4 games, or 5 games, I got better at something, I worked on something, and this team is going to be better because of it.
And Khaman doesn't seem like the type of kid who would be discouraged by anything. It just doesn't seem like that's in his DNA. He's overtly positive, obviously not ignoring negatives, but certainly understands he's on his own timeline. It's not like if he had 5 turnovers today that he would be super down on himself. Sure, he'd be like, I got to work on it, but I got to get better. But I'm sure he looks back at a game like this, and it's proof that you can do it. When you haven't played basketball for that long, and you are in a spot where you were the 10th overall pick, you're on a team that really believes in you long term, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. And even though he knows that he doesn't need to be great right away, he wants to be. So to be able to say, hey, I have the ability to limit this. I've gotten stronger. My hands are better. I've gotten a little bit better with the game slowing down. I'm not getting pressured. I'm not getting heated up. I'm not getting rushed. I'm playing my own game, and the turnovers are not coming along with that. You now have an entire game that you can look back on and say, all right, what did I do right on Sunday, and what did I do wrong on Friday? The coaches can look and say, how did we utilize Khaman on Friday versus how do we utilize Khaman on Sunday? This is why playing in the Summer League for a guy like Maluach and all the young players is so important. He just would never get the opportunity to do some of the things that he was able to do in a less pressure-filled environment on the big league stage. This is going to be a massive building block for Maluach, and I wonder if we look back 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now and think this was really the official arrival that we saw of him.
I sure hope so, and this is something that you see a lot with guys, like the application of things that are being said, the application of things that are being taught and learned, and they say so much about the Suns' way, because that's the other part, the reps with the Valley Suns last year, the reps with the Big Suns last year, and even going back to last year's Summer League performance, everything is working towards something, and it's the big picture. It's important to, again, be patient. It's a reminder, this young man is still 19 years old doing these things. He'll be 20 when the season rolls around, but let's just be patient with this young man. He's doing a lot of good good things and saying a lot of the right things, but he's not just saying the right things. He's doing the right things and backing up the words that he's saying. It's interesting when you were talking about the thing that you were most impressed by with him. I was expecting something else. I don't know if you know what I was expecting.
Like the enforcer type thing?
Yeah, so it was during the game.
Dude, he plays with an edge.
He does play with an edge, and it was today in this game, it was a Rasheer Fleming breakaway, and it was Jerron Pierre Jr. for New Orleans. Wasn't a hard foul. It was ruled a common foul, but some people took exception to it, and Khaman Maluach ran down there and basically tapped him and said, we're not doing that. And it was nothing. It was much ado about nothing. I think they might have gotten double techs, and somebody said I think that might be the first tech that he's ever gotten, ever. But just having that type of edge, and I think that carries over from what we see this team. Everybody has their teammates back, their brothers' backs, as they like to say. It's, again, one thing to call somebody your brother, one thing to say, oh, yeah, we went through a lot of different things. We went through training camp. We did all this together. That's my brother. But it's another thing to have their back and be that type of player for this team, and we're seeing Khaman Maluach be that type of guy as well.
He doesn't take shit on the court. Mm-hmm. You think back there was the game against the Hornets. I think it was Diabate was kind of pushing him around a little bit, and he started pushing him back.
Right.
And we ran into our guy Stephen Gillespie, who has been on the show and breaking down the draft. And when I talked to him last year, his kind of wonder about Maluach was, could he play physically? Could he be on the boards and dominate physically, or is he going to get pushed around? Is he? I didn't
want to interrupt him. I thought it though.
Fair. Bless you, Shane. Is he going to get pushed around? Is he going to be physical enough? Is he going to kind of play with, and I think Steven said this specifically, is he going to play with like a little bit of an asshole to him? Like, is he going to push guys around? And that's exactly what he's been. He's such a nice kid. He comes from such a great story. He has a great head on his shoulders, but he has an edge. And to be that big, that athletic, that skilled with that edge, that's always what we wanted out of DeAndre Ayton, is where's your edge? And I'm not even trying to throw shots at him, but like that was legitimately it. It was, you have this sometimes, but not all the time. That's a lack of edge. That's not Khaman Maluach. And that was really apparent in another one of his answers in our post-game availability when he was asked if he just feels more comfortable in Summer League in year 2.
I wouldn't say like I'm just out there all comfortable just running around. I mean, as I do always play with a chip on my shoulder. I just go out there and do my best and put a lot of effort.
So the thing about that I liked about that answer was basically him saying I'm doing everything with intention. I'm not letting the fact that this is year 2 for me say, oh, well, I've done this before. I can get comfortable and kind of rest on my laurels, and everybody's just kind of bow down and know that, hey, I'm one of the few guys who's played playoff basketball, real playoff minutes on this court, regardless of who they play against throughout this. He's one of the very few players in Summer League who can say that they've done that. He's not saying that's enough. He's saying I got to go out there, do the work, and play with a chip on my shoulder. And that's something that you definitely want to hear from. Because a lot of times we see guys who are lottery picks, and they say, well, I made it now. I'm a lottery pick. This team invested in me. I'm that. But a lot of people look at him as being a project. There's a lot of outside noise, and I don't think that the outside noise gets to Khaman Maluach, but I don't think that he is completely oblivious to it.
He's 19 years old. He's online.
He's online. People hear what's said, and people hear what detractors have to say about him, and I don't think he's worried about proving them wrong, so to speak, but he knows that it's out there, and playing with a chip on his shoulder, going out there with something to prove every night, and a big part of it is proving to his teammates, you can trust me next year. From day one, when opening night rolls around, whoever we get matched up against, you can trust me to go out there and take care of my business, whether I'm matched up with somebody that's as big as me, whether I have to play out in open space and use my tools to stay in front of somebody. You can trust me, and that's a big thing that it's important to do, because the only way to prove it is by doing it on the court.
In attendance today was Oso Ighodaro, Mark Williams,
yes,
Ryan Dunn.
Indeed.
Was Bouye here?
Yes.
Bouye was here. Was Highsmith here?
He was.
Highsmith was there. Brian Gregory.
Yes.
Josh Bartlestein.
Indeed.
But most importantly, Jordan Ott was there.
He sure was.
Jordan Ott and the entire Phoenix Suns coaching staff. Khaman Maluach is fighting for a spot in the rotation.
Yes.
And clearly, if there's anything that we learned last year, is that spot is not guaranteed. He is fighting in a center rotation that has Mark Williams, who's just signed to a 3-year contract, is getting paid like a starting center. Not a high-paid one, but still getting paid like a starting center, who had a good season for the Suns last year, even though if we have maybe some worries or kind of things we're keeping our eyes on in the future with Mark and that contract. Oso Ighodaro was a mainstay in the Suns rotation last year, was the spot starter for them, is higher on the depth chart than Khaman Maluach. He's the third string center on this team. He shouldn't feel comfortable. You're a top 10 pick, but you are not top 2 in the Sun center rotation right now. Do I think he will be by the end of the season? I do. I actually believe by the end of the season there's a good chance that he's starting, because the way that this has started to click for him and the fact that, yes, he has a lot of room to grow and he won't be anywhere near what his full potential is, can he be a starting caliber center, and does a shooting big really unlock what you did with Miles Bridges, Dillon Brooks, Devin Booker, and Jalen Green? I think it takes you to a whole nother level. If you want to take a leap in this Western Conference, it is kind of on the shoulders of Khaman Maluach. And I think he could do it. And I think he could do it this season. He would not be a top 15, top 10 starting center in the league, but would he be a better look than Mark? And would Mark maybe be better suited for a bench role? I could see that. Or when we get to the trade deadline, we can have different conversations. I think we're in for a very interesting year of Khaman Maluach hoops in Phoenix. He's going to be involved. How much is going to be up to him to replicate what he did tonight on the big league stage.
And it's important to also acknowledge that there are 3 centers, and this is also a team that will play small ball. And there are other minutes at the 5 that he's going to have to claw for with, maybe it's Koa Peat, maybe it's Rasheer Fleming, who could play small ball 5. We've seen a lot of small ball lineups that they have as well. So there aren't necessarily that many minutes to be had. But you mentioned Mark Williams. We know there's probably going to again be a plan towards what he's doing out there to keep him as available as possible throughout the course of the season. And thinking about the shooting ability, if he can be that stretch big, he gives this team just a completely different look that they have not been able to count on up to this point of the juncture of this new era of basketball. So thinking about him giving a different look, a different dynamic, and again, going back to what you said with Jordan not being there in attendance, this is somebody and showing the knowledge that fighting for minutes doesn't start in training camp. It doesn't start. No. It starts now. It starts now. And showing that understanding says a lot about where he is mentally, even if it's something he won't acknowledge. But you can tell by the way he's playing, he knows that with the way he's approaching the game.
You believe in the three-point shot?
Yes. I believe in the three-point. I believe.
Tell me, how much do you believe in the three-point shot?
On a scale of 1 to 10, my belief is probably like a 7 or an 8.
What does that mean? Like, how do you see that on the big league scale? Are we talking this guy's going to be taking 3 to 4 a game?
Yeah, I think I could see at his peak, I could see Khaman Maluach making like 1.5 threes a game.
That'd be sick.
I can see that.
It would unlock a Khaman Maluach Oso Gadara lineup, as so many people in the chat who have pointed out. Which, by the way, shout out to the chat for hanging out with us.
Of course,
here
they're on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, we got hello. We have Andy, the future becomes a present. Howard, Spike, and Spike also wonders, what does an Oso Khaman lineup look like? I think we saw it for a couple of minutes. I don't think so. I think we saw for a couple of minutes against Portland randomly in the middle of the season, then we never saw it again when there's a lot of injuries.
It's like when nobody was available.
Yeah. Oso's playmaking and lack of shooting, alongside what could possibly be a stretch big in Khaman Maluach, the switchability of Oso on the perimeter. He's one of the best switch bigs defending in the league, and Khaman Maluach's rim protection. Like, that's really the only type of double big look I think the Suns could live with, unless Rasheer is going to be playing like a small ball 5 type thing, or if you want to consider him a big technically, but I wouldn't consider him in these types of lineups.
So thinking back to when you asked me about the shooting and me believing in it, it goes back to the first time I remember seeing Khaman Maluach play, which would have been 2 summers ago when he's playing for South Sudan. Mm-hmm. And I think it was a friendly matchup against Team USA ahead of the Olympics. And he let the shot fly with confidence. And me thinking about a 17-year-old playing against LeBron James and and Steph Curry and all those guys who are on that team, Anthony Davis, Bam Adebayo, you name it, and him saying, you know what, I'm going to do this confidently. There was something that I said, okay, he knows that he can do this. He does it well. You think about the shot mechanics, they're there. They look good. The confidence in the shot, it's there. It looks good. And he's not forcing them. The one that was short for him today was the one that could have tied the game, but I like that he attempted that shot in that moment, not afraid of that moment, knowing that I'm the best guy on this team. I think I'm the best player on this team. I think I'm the most talented player on this team. I am. And I'm going to take this shot because my team needs me to tie the ball game here. Didn't get it to go, but I love that he's doing that. I love that mentality. And you bet, might not be this year, but at some point in time in his career, he's going to make big shots to tie the game for the Suns on the NBA stage. So seeing all these things and then piecing it together and kind of closing your eyes, as Steven likes to tell us to do, and imagining what it's going to look like when he's playing in the NBA during the course of an 82-game season. And there's not a moment where I'm like, Yeah, but that's not going to translate. I don't think he can do that. I don't think that's going to happen. Like,
It
no,
doesn't seem fluky.
The stuff that he's doing is very solid, very sustainable, and not just that, something he can continue to build on with time.
He is somebody that the moment they drafted him, you go back and you watch some of the three-pointers that he attempted at Duke, which wasn't a lot, but the form was there. He has great form. The touch is fantastic. He's a good free throw shooter. And obviously he's not afraid to take them. Some of them were pretty contested too. It wasn't just wide open. So I believe in the three-point shot as well. I hope it's something that could be accelerated into the actual NBA game reps here. He was taking them at certain points in the regular season when he had reps. But once you get to the playoffs, you're not going to have Khaman Maluach take threes in his rookie year against OKC. So if he can add that in, hit 1, hit 2 a game would be just a complete mold breaker for the Suns. I can't believe how good he's looked. He has not just been the best player on the Suns. Since halftime against the Trailblazers, he's been the best player on the court for both teams. He outdueled Young Hansen or Hansen Young, I don't know which way I'm supposed to say it, but he outdueled him for what seemed like really the first time in his career. Then, from the moment that this ball tipped off at noon at the Cox Pavilion, Khaman Maluach was the best player on the court.
Absolutely. There's nobody, you'd be hard-pressed to try and find somebody on New Orleans' team. They had guys who had good games and guys who were solid, but not anybody that's better than Khaman Maluach all around the court. The impact that he's able to make and just the presence that he's able to have, there's nobody out there that's been better than him, and that's exactly what we wanted to see from him. That was on your wish list, him being too good for the Summer League, and not just being too good for the Summer League, but being hands down clearly the best player in the gym, and that's what you want to get with your number 10 overall pick in their second season. Being the best player in Summer League is kind of one of those boxes you check off and one of those steps towards being a guy who can be impactful on the NBA level. And even if it's just 7 or 9 or 11 minutes, build on that, because what we've learned from him is he's not really taking any steps backwards. Now, obviously, development is never going to be linear. There are going to be ups and downs as far as that goes, but everything he's been doing has been trending in the right direction, and that's what makes me so excited to see what the next step looks like for him.
You think he plays tomorrow?
I don't know. The answer we got from Chase Allen was very.
But yeah, he said we'll check in with those guys and we'll be smart about it. But he also said I think every single rep that those two, talking about Rasheer and Khaman, could get is really valuable for them.
And I agree.
It is such an interesting development because you would think he'd be shut down. You'd think Khaman's Summer League should be over with just how good he's been. Usually that's how it happens. But he's in that unique position where as much burn as possible is probably a good thing for him to stack these good reps, to stack these confidence builders. You play the Bucks tomorrow, then you play the Pistons on Wednesday, and then you got another game. So we're talking about Khaman being the best player on the floor, which the Suns front office might envision that being his future on this team in 7 to 8 years. This is the Khaman Maluach-led Phoenix Suns, and they build around him. Getting him early reps as the best player with everything running through him. I don't know if he plays tomorrow, but I do wonder if maybe they have him swing back around and play against Detroit on Wednesday.
That'd be interesting to see how it goes. It was interesting. It kind of felt like he didn't want to give Chase Allen didn't want to give us too much behind the curtains. It was a very coach speak answer. He's getting good at the coach speak, which I shout out to him, which is not just learning about coaching the team, the X's and O's, you're learning about how to navigate the media post game. But we've seen enough from him, but we also could see more. We've seen enough, but we could see more. I was looking at the Bucks Summer League roster just to see if there's any particular matchups that he could maybe get more out of. Not really anybody on that roster that could challenge him and say, hey, we want to see what you look like against this type of center, this type of center. I'm not too familiar with the Pistons Summer League roster, although they were playing as we were leaving.
Big time Bogoljub Markovic guy.
Yeah, of course you are. But, it'd be interesting regardless to see those matchups, because the important part, as you mentioned about after these reps, when this ends this week, there isn't going to be any more opportunities to get reps like this until they play training camp. And, they have pickup that they'll have, I'm sure, towards the end of September. But training camp is when it's very different. Training camp will be the next opportunity, and of course the preseason. But my thought and I guess overwhelming big thing with Khaman Maluach is just the fact that It's confidence, it's communication, and it's things that'll translate. And we've seen that. We've seen that from him, and we've seen it from his draft classmate as well. He and Rasheer Fleming have formed a bit of a duo. They do everything together. They did their post-game media together, which there were plenty of laughs to be had during that session today. Much better showing from Rasheer Fleming today, and he and Khaman Maluach played well off of one another. The stats don't necessarily pop off the page completely, but 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, one of which we'll talk about here in a second, 2 blocks, and a steal. One of those blocks, by the way, was an impressive.
It was the first Rasheer Fleming moment that we had here. He had 4 stocks on Friday night, but that one where he pinned it, that was loud.
And it was one of the situations, I think it was Marquise Noel, I want to say, and he was matched up with him pretty high. So playing that point of attack defense, navigates the screens, about a full step behind, but he made up for that with his length and was able to pin it off the glass. And that was just one of those things where it pops. It's like, oh, yeah, that's a guy right there. He can do things like that, and we've seen him do things like that, and he's still piecing it together. But I expect that to be much more of the norm as time goes on as well for Rasheer Fleming.
I'm going to take us so off the rails here, and then we'll get back to Rasheer Fleming.
Please do it.
So Hello says, Erik is the only person that goes to Vegas and gets whiter. Tell the people what happened when we were walking into an unnamed casino last night after jumping out for a second. Do you remember what happened? When I got stopped by somebody?
Was I there?
Yeah, Gil. You were there.
Gil.
I got stopped by some random dude as we were walking into the casino, and he literally's like, "Why are you so white?" Dead ass, dude. Dead ass. He's like, "Why are you so white?" Like, he's like, usually people are pale, but like they at least have like a little like blush in their face or something, like a little red.
That's
and
he's
like,
said?
he was basically calling me like lifeless.
Yes.
He's
like,
there's
Maybe he was just worried about
you.
No,
dead ass.
He was.
No, dead ass. He goes, I think there's something wrong with you. And then this man gives me a hug.
He said, "Can I give you a hug?"
And I'm like, what? And then he pulls me in for a hug.
How did you not tell me this?
I was drunk. And he pulls me in for a hug, and he stank. And he was holding on to me. And, like, I was giving Gil a look. He held on and, like, held tighter.
He squeezed.
Dude, it was like a 15-second hug.
It was.
Just
in the doorway. We were in the doorway.
Dude, and he was just like, he's like, there's something wrong with you. Like, he's like, you're holding something back. Like, there's no life there. I'm like, all right. I was like, all right, man. He was like, what's going on with you? I'm like, I'm just pale, and I've been pale my entire life. This isn't really like anything new for me. Dude, it was crazy.
I'm looking at Hello's comment.
What did Hello say? That is crazy. That is crazy.
This is the roast beforehand. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
We gotta take. I'm not reading them out loud. I might save them for the roast.
Hey, as I say, white boys who are pale together stand together.
It's real.
That's why you two get along so well.
It's so real.
Yeah.
It's so
real.
real.
I'm still working on my tan.
Yeah, that was. I kind of forgot that happened too until Hello said that. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. When you just said that to me, I was
Dude,
like, well, yeah.
So weird.
It was
anyway.
It was a strange guy. But anyway, back to
Fleming.
Back to Rasheer Fleming and what he did.
Not pale. And nothing pales in comparison to that block.
Right, that block. Yeah, there you go.
That's the transition I was looking for.
Nothing pales in comparison to that.
First one was an air ball. Second one went in.
You went out and you caught it and saved it back. But back to what we were talking about with Rasheer Fleming. It was just one of those things, a comfort thing with him. He did get 1-3 to go down. What's going on? Dre
Mill says, was it a dude with dreads? I got stopped and hugged by a guy saying I had RBF he had to fix.
Yes, it was.
It was?
It was. Dre Mill, did he smell bad? I didn't smell him, but you said.
Did this happen yesterday to you, Dre Mill? Because was he wearing like an orange shirt? I think he was wearing an orange shirt.
I just remember he had on hiking shoes, I feel like.
Yeah, he smelled like he just went on a hike.
Oh, my gosh. Anyway, I'm talking about Rasheer Fleming.
Dude, that's crazy.
That is wild.
That's crazy.
Oh,
it happened yesterday. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty wild. See, they say Vegas, man.
You know what? I'm glad that didn't that actually makes me feel so much better about myself.
That guy was trying to just do – she's trying to just better the world.
That's like his bit.
He's trying to better the world.
He didn't just single me out specifically and be like, there's a problem with you, that this is his bit. That is hilarious.
He's a notorious on-street roaster. Maybe so.
No, he seemed legitimately
concerned.
I'm legitimately concerned for whoever Rasheer Fleming is defending because that man can lock down. I don't know.
We're just gonna talk about Rasheer Fleming's game, straightforward.
Well, actually, one more thing. No, I'm kidding.
No, actually, what I will say, one of the things that Rasheer Fleming did, it was actually action with Khaman Maluach. Khaman Maluach had the ball screen for him, and he came off of it, lost the handle for a second, but then he got downhill, got into the lane, and kicked it out to Darius Brown for a three-pointer. And I asked Rasheer Fleming about his playmaking and the focus on improving in that realm, and here's what he had to say after the game.
Yeah, for sure. The playmaking stuff, having the ball in my hand, just slowing the game down has definitely been like a big thing for me this summer. I'm trying to incorporate that more in the summer league, and I think it's been showing a little more.
The thing that stands out to me about that is oftentimes with summer league, you do want to see guys go off for 20, 25, 30 points. You do want to see them dominate. You do want to see them be the best player on the court. But you also want to see them work on certain things that could add a lot to their game. And there are going to be some ups and downs as far as that goes. There are going to be some growing pains as far as that goes. Even that possession itself wasn't the cleanest handle, but he made something out of nothing in some respects. And then he had a quick crossover in the middle lane before finding Darius Brown in the corner, who, by the way, had a game-high tying 18 points in this game. Darius Brown did. But that's just the type of thing that we want to see. We want to see inside the arc creation. We saw it in the form of a pull-up jumper on Friday, and now we saw him drive and kick. And those are the type of things that we want to be able to see him become very, very dangerous as a driver, or dangerous enough as a driver to where it's now Jalen Green spacing out in the corner. It's now Devin Booker spacing out in the corner. That would be the dream, to see him be that type of creator, and it doesn't just start overnight. You have to work on that and show reps like that when he did.
I mean, you're never going to run the offense through Rasheer Fleming.
No.
That's just not the type of player he is. But to have somebody who's able to dribble, he's very good with his handle despite how long his arms are. He's still really quick. I saw Hello talking in here about how a 250-pound Rasheer Fleming is just going to move slower than a 230-pound Rasheer Fleming. Obviously, you're going to have to see it in game reps, but I don't think he's really lost a step. He still seemed just as fast. You saw the recovery block that we mentioned before, which is something that he was doing last year as well. I don't really think the weight, he might be like a little slower, but I do think it was a worthy trade-off. Also, he'll lose some weight during the season. That's usually how that goes.
Happens.
So like he'll
Probably about it in training camp.
Yeah, he'll slim down a little bit when they're playing 82 games. He hasn't had the best summer league.
No.
He hasn't necessarily like flashed offensively in the way that you would like. The defense is going to be there, always going to be there. 3 stocks for him today. Like the same way that players would go away from Khaman Maluach or get the ball out of their hands when he was defending, it was the same thing for Rasheer Fleming. I remember a rep, Kobe Buffkin, was handling the ball, and Rasheer switched onto him and was just like that. Mm-hmm. And Buffkin tried to dribble a little bit. Rasheer was staying with him. He was moving laterally, and then Buffkin passed the ball out. And I saw this look on Buffkin's face where it was kind of like, like he was frustrated.
What am I supposed to do?
Well, no,
what can I do? Like, what can I do?
Frustrated because he's like, oh, I thought that I'd be able to maybe take this guy off of the dribble. Buffkin's been in the league for a couple of years now. He's like, oh, maybe I can just go score. And he just couldn't do anything against Rasheer Fleming, right? That's the type of defender that he is, and that's the type of stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So do I want him to hit threes? Yeah. I'm going to believe what he's done at an NBA level more so than what he's done on a summer league level when, by the way, nobody on this team can really shoot right now. Kobe Brea was 0-6 from 3. Koa Peat took 1 3 today. That didn't go in.
What is that smell?
Yeah, Kobe Brea. We'll talk about Kobe Brea. Rasheer Fleming was 1 of 4. Jameer Nelson Jr. is 0-2. Like
this team was 6 for 30.
6 for 30. Khaman Maluach was the second leading 3-point shooter today with 2. He had 1/3 of the Suns' 3-pointers.
I mean, he and
2.
Darius Brown were 5 of 11. The rest of the team was 1 for 19.
And it was 1 from Rasheer. So this team can't shoot at all. Like
They've been-
literally
no.
at all. So when you don't have that shooting around Rasheer Fleming, you don't have the spacing, and he's just not playing that same role offensively that he'd be playing in the NBA. I'm not really worried about it. Did I want to see more? I do, but does it look like he doesn't, like, you know, he hasn't improved or he's not doing well? Like, no, I don't think that, especially the defense has been good. So maybe Rasheer plays another game. I'm not sure if Khaman or Rasheer play again. I think Koa's going to play every single game. Kobe needs to play every single game, and we'll see what kind of goes from there. But I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more of Rasheer Fleming, who also, like, Koa, Rasheer, and Khaman are starting. Those are the 3 centers that this team
That's
plays.
the center rotation.
Right, minus Jake Stevens, who played
2 minutes.
2 minutes, had plus on the plus-minus, by the way.
+1.
+1 with 1 rebound. Not bad. Besides that, and he didn't play last game. Like that, those are the centers. So they're starting 3 centers, and then they're rotating kind of throughout. So it's just
Starting
not
three
it's
centers.
not the same for Rasheer Fleming as what he's going to be in the NBA. And we saw a pretty good sample size of his shooting on an NBA level. So
After
I'm
the
not
All-Star
worried-
break, he figured it out. He
40%
figured
from deep on multiple attempts per game, like that. It was a good post All-Star break for Rasheer. So
I do like Michael's comment about Rasheer saying Rasheer hasn't lost a step, but he needs to learn that hard dribble pull up at the elbow. He can rise over the top of most players. We see him work on that a lot when we get a chance to go to the facilities. And I know I kind of joke and we laugh, and it looks like Kawhi, but it does. And I mentioned it to you. One thing that makes Kawhi Leonard stand out with the way he plays and the way he handles the ball, he pounds the ball. Like, he pounds the rock so hard. It's like it's something that's kind of jarring when you watch Kawhi Leonard play in person because you can hear it, and his hands are so big. But that's how he kind of keeps control of it, and that's how his handle has been as tight as it's been when he added that to his game and made that leap offensively. And I'm not saying Rasheer is going to be Kawhi Leonard, but he can take some things from him. He can take some things from an OG Anunoby and the way that they approach the game and the way they approach the game offensively. I trust the shot. The shot looks good. The one that he made was a shuffle down into the corner where I was worried he was going to step out of bounds, but he didn't. I was worried they might have called it travel, but they didn't. And him seeing one go through, I think, will be big if we see him play once or twice more out in Las Vegas or not. That is going to be something just to see the shot go through, because I'd feel way worse if he wasn't able to get any of these shots, any threes to fall in his first two games.
yeah, I think Rasheer is really, really good. I'm extraordinarily high on what Rasheer Fleming brings. I thought he'd have a better summer league offensively, but him and Maluach have been probably the best defensive tandem in the front court, maybe in all of summer league right now. Guys are just afraid to go at them. And the recoveries, the blocks, the steals, the switches, the instincts, the communications, like you mentioned. Khaman talks a lot on defense. Rasheer doesn't talk a ton, but that's like kind of a fun combo where
Yin-yang
yeah,
type deal.
yeah. Khaman's like a lot. Rasheer's just a quieter guy in general, but Khaman is very, very loud, and so that's kind of a fun dynamic between the two of them. And they do take pride, and they talked about that post-game where they were like, yeah, we take pride in playing defense and playing off of each other and finding a way to impact the game. And that's what you need to do for a Jordan Knott team. Like, hey, I talked about Khaman Maluach's spot in the rotation with Jordan Knott watching. Guess who wasn't in the rotation at the end of the season when the games mattered the most? It was Rasheer Fleming. Khaman was more in the rotation than Rasheer. Now, yes, part of that was absolutely injuries, but there were injuries at the wing position as well. Rasheer ended the season out of the rotation for the Suns. Now, much to Suns fans' disappointment and honestly a lot of disagreement, including I think from myself, not to speak for you, but I think we all were like, hey, Rasheer should be getting a look here. We think he could help. He's got to earn his spot. The Suns traded for a guy who plays his position. And sure, they traded away Royce and Grayson Allen, but Miles Bridges is much closer to the archetype that Rasheer Fleming is going to fill. I know they're different players than a Royce O'Neal or Grayson Allen. So if anything, his spot is even less secure than it was last year because he gave such a different look from the two guys that they traded out. So Rasheer is trying to earn a spot in the rotation, and I don't know if he's doing that offensively right now. I don't think this is the end-all, be-all, but defensively, he brings looks that nobody else on the Suns can bring.
That's it. The defense is going to be the solid, the constant, but the swing skill is going to be the shooting. There's so much potential in that respect for him to be a 36, 37, 38% three-point shooter. If he's able to do that at decent volume, then that's going to be big for him and does give you a different look. When I think about Rasheer Fleming, I think about the highest highs I saw from him this past season. They were on the defensive end, but it wasn't just him alone. It was him in tandem with a Ryan Dunn or in tandem with a Jordan Goodwin. You have some very scary looks that you can give teams where it's like kind of the opposite of that splash. It's like, oh, you can switch off of this? Well, guess what? It's Rasheer Fleming. Oh, you get switched off? It's Jordan Goodwin. It's Dillon Brooks. Good luck trying to figure things out.
The Devin Booker, Mark Williams pick and roll. Here's a Rasheer Fleming tween hezzy splash in your face.
That too. We're about 3 or 4 months from that being the case as well. But just thinking about defensively, there could be possessions where teams just do not get a break. So having an opportunity to do that, and I do think it's worth noting, and it's been a common thread among the chat, that the guard play has not necessarily been where you wanted it to be on your wish list. Darius Brown had a good scoring performance. He's a guy who we talked about, averaged over 10 assists per game, had 7 on Friday, I do believe, only had 4 in this one. He seemed like he was making a little more concerted effort to look for his shot in today's game, not faulting him for that at all. He finished with a team-high 18 points, game-high tying 18 points on 7 of 12 shooting from the field. But there hasn't really been that point guard who can set the table for these guys the same way that they will benefit from the playmaking of a Devin Booker, of an Oso Iguodala when the regular season rolls around. So it is important to take some of the quality of shots that these guys are getting with a grain of salt, because it's going to impact the efficiency, because they just aren't being set up the same way that they would in other situations.
Are you ready to have the Kobe Bryant conversation?
Yeah, we can have the Kobe Bryant conversation.
Steve Kimes, School of Drinking, with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Steve Kimes, School of Drinking. Now, reminder, super chats are not what we say, they're what people say. Kobe out there for cardio and shooting tour dates.
And I'll go ahead and read Michael's $9.99 super chat. We appreciate you, Michael. And this is what Michael had to say. Our guard play is trash, bad passes, bad shots, bad turnovers, and bad basketball IQ. 2 years in a row with a similar roster makeup. Khaman, Rasheer, and Koa are NBA players. Brea is lost at sea.
Thank you, Michael. I said this going into Summer League. It was on my wish list. Number 5 was good, unselfish point guard play. Now, Darius Brown Jr. is a guy who averaged 10 assists per game in the G League. I think – I don't want to say he's not been great. He hasn't been exactly what I thought he was going to be. I didn't feel like he was really directing traffic, calming things down. He did have, I think, 7 assists against Portland, but it didn't feel like, man, Darius Brown Jr. is just kind of in control of this game. Today, he had 4 assists, which, by the way, led the team. 4 assists. Shelvin Mack, 3.9 assists per game.
Team finished with 10 in the game, too.
10 assists in the game is diabolical. The Suns need to draft a point guard next year, even if it's in the second round, simply for this reason alone. Because if you're going to have these bigs and these forwards and whatever, like, I'm tired of watching Summer League play where there's just not there's not a guard that's playing the way that you'd like him to play. And that leads us to Kobe Bryant, who, by the way, was never supposed to be a facilitator. You're not supposed to be your offensive engine. But if you look back to last year, he had a great Summer League. He was hitting middies off the dribble. He was the Suns' best player in Summer League at certain moments, and that was incredibly encouraging. To the point that I remember watching the game that he played, the one that I was there in person, I was sitting next to Espo, and we were looking at each other like, whoa, like this kid might be something. And obviously, you know, he had a good year in the G League, took almost 10 3-pointers per game, shot a decent percentage for that type of volume. But, one, he's been out of rhythm. Part of that is the guard play. 1 of 10 from the field, 0 of 6 from 3. But another part of that is, and I was talking to somebody about this while we were watching the game on Friday, is he doesn't have like a go-to move, right? He doesn't have like all right, my 3 ball's not falling. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to hit somebody with this type of crossover, and I'm going to get to the rim just to see one go through the hoop. I'm going to go draw a foul just to see one go through the hoop. 0 free throws for Kobe Bryant today. He has to be better. He is also on a 2-way contract, and I understand that people have some pretty high expectations for him, but he's not currently an NBA player, and I'm not saying that because of his contract. He's got to be better defensively. He's got to be better passing the ball, and he also has to be better at finding a way to get a rhythm, because you can't just rely on the guard play around you. Sometimes, Gil, if it's not going your way, you have to find a way to make it go your way.
And a little bit on the Kobe Bryant file, through 2 games, that is now 2 of 17 from the field and 0 for 10 from beyond the arc, which is supposed to be what he does. And he's had 5 points on Friday and 2 points today. And someone asked what my impression of what was going wrong with him was on Friday. And obviously this isn't the level of play that we expected or wanted to see from him. And this is not the level of play that he wanted or expected of himself. I don't think he would honestly tell you that he's pleased with the way he's played
if he
so
did,
far.
Then get him out of the franchise.
Exactly. So I think that he wants to play better. He's probably the number 1 person that wants to play better because he's playing for a lot. He's playing for a bigger opportunity. He's playing to move up and get off of that 2-way contract eventually. But my answer at the time was he was playing with a little bit of uncertainty. It was like a lack of confidence there. And he did take a confident shot toward the end of the game to try and tie things up. Did not get that to go as well. But I do like the fact that they at least tried to do that. I expected it because it's the way basketball works. Sometimes the universe works. Sometimes I thought, this guy hasn't been able to hit anything all day. He's going to hit this one and tie the game. Unfortunately, he did not make that happen. But maybe it was fortunate because we didn't have overtime in a summer league game. But
would have been electric.
It was, yeah, right. But it's just one of those things where there was one play where he tried to get to a turnaround and thought he got fouled, but he couldn't get it to go, and he was just kind of chirping at the refs and just frustrated because he just wants to see one go through, wants to figure it out, wants to get it to go. And when it gets to that point, it's a level of frustration where we probably will see him play all 5 games out here in Las Vegas, but he's got to be better and try to figure out if there's not going to be somebody setting you up to play, how can you create for yourself? How can you get to your spots? What spots is it that you want to get to when you talk about the lack of a go-to move or a lack of a go-to thing that you expect outside of shooting? What's the pull-up? Get some more reps up, get some more shots up, see it go through at the practice gym. Figure it out. They're right back at it tomorrow. There's plenty of time because it's a later game tomorrow, but would like to see him build upon it or start over because it has not been very memorable for Mr. Brand through 2 games.
He needs to see a 3 go through. That's really it. He needs to see a shot go through the hoop because that is usually what's going to help get you into that rhythm, and I'm sure he's going to be thinking about it all day. He's going to play every game. So he's going to have the opportunity. He's not on the type of watch that we are with Khaman and with Rasheer, where it's like, okay, are they going to play another game? Kobe's going to play every single game. So is Koa Peat, who we haven't talked about at all.
We have not yet. We talked about him like 1 second we did, but that was it. Koa showed some flashes today.
I thought Koa had a really solid game.
Koa had a solid game. Finished with 12 points, 5 of 10 from the field, 4 boards. So it looked like he's not going to be able to lead Summer League in rebounding, offensive rebounding like he planned on it. But he did some things that were impressive to me. One thing that he did was he ripped somebody at half court.
Yes.
Went down and you looked at me and you talked about having a go-to move. He likes getting to that spin off of people, off the body.
He likes and this is going to sound so bad, but it's not. He likes a fast break post-up.
Yeah.
He did that, and I was like, I don't know about that one, but he was so confident with it. He grabbed the ball, went there, and then immediately posted up, turned around, and laid it in. It was impressive. His post game and his passing have been really popping for me when we've been watching him. Now, 4 turnovers to 1 assist today is not exactly what you like. Again,
7 fouls.
He's being the fouls are BS. But
for him, I don't know, dude.
He's
15 fouls over 2 games.
When he sent that dude to the floor,
Yeah.
and the entire arena went silent, and then you look at the replay, and you're like, what happened? It was just like they just jumped into each other, and
Yeah.
he's a big guy.
he's a big physical player. That's fine. Use him. Use your fouls.
We got to see his brother. Andres was there.
Any thoughts?
I mean, if you've seen the video.
The video of him blocking
the
for
NFL
many
combine.
years with the I tried to zig, but he zagged right back.
Koa Peat is a legitimate NBA player. The Suns got a good pick at 30. He has go-to moves offensively. He's way more polished than everybody wants to talk about. He hit some mid-range fadeaways. He bullies guys.
He took some too.
He gets in the paint. Like the jumper doesn't look great, but when people use the term broken, I think you look at a guy that can't do anything with the jumper. Koa can. Can he hit free throws and 3-pointers? We don't got to talk about that because no. But he can take a mid-range fadeaway jumper. That's a skill. And that's a skill that becomes very important in the NBA when you're trying to maybe score off of a broken possession, break down a defense and Koa has a mismatch. It's not like, okay, Koa has a mismatch and now it's like we don't know what he's going to do. He's going to put them in the post, bully them, and go to the rim or take a mid-range fadeaway. And he shot 50% from the field today.
I really like that some of those misses were him trying things. It's not like, hey, this is a shortcoming, this is a weakness, I'm not going to do it. There was one where he 2-dribble pull up from around the free throw line, and I looked at you, and you're like, I don't hate that shot. And you said it doesn't even look that bad. And I looked at you, and I was like, it could use a little work, but the fact that he's willing to do it says so much about his mentality, says so much about the way the coaches are getting through to him. Now, do I expect him to do that at the end of November when there's a game going on and he has his whatever limited minutes he's going to have in this rotation to start his NBA career? No, but this is the time to do that. This is the time to try that. If he was shy of taking those shots, I'd be worried right now. But the fact that he's letting it fly, the fact that he's getting 10 up, the fact that he's trying to be out there and show that he's the best player on the court, the most talented player on the court, which he has a case for that anytime he steps on the court, which is a good problem to have. Who is the most talented guy out here? But he'd had that, and then there was the floater he got to getting downhill. He initiated the offense. He brought it up. And, again, not a guy you're going to expect to do that all the time.
And he's also playing center. Like that, that's the thing. He's in such a weird position. Same with Rasheer and same with Khaman, where we talk about how bad the guard play is. But it's also like the guard play is so bad and the center depth is so weak that you're starting 3 guys that eventually play center for you, and all of them are the ones initiating the offense. Minus Rasheer a little bit, but he does dribble a decent amount more than he would have before. Khaman is bringing the ball up the court. Koa is bringing the ball up the court. Now, Khaman was a little bit more limited in that today.
Yeah,
that
I
played
think,
into the turnovers for
yeah,
sure.
I think we nixed that really fast this time. Anytime he got a rebound, he took one dribble. He's like, no,
I got it. Here you go.
There you
go. But Koa's not playing the role that he's going to play in the NBA, at least not for a long time. And that shows me that there's more to his game than that, because I'm not worried about the physicality and the rebounding and everything. So I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do. If you look at the box score, it's not great. You see the 4 turnovers, but if you watch that 1 assist that he had to Rasheer, that was a really nice read. And I think he's such a solid player and he makes winning plays, and that's said over and over and over again, but it is true.
I want to talk about that play too, because we clipped the highlight for it and we didn't have the whole play because it was kind of ugly at first, but it was him almost losing the ball. And again, being put in a tough spot where he's trying to create and do things he probably hasn't done since high school or AAU, and he's doing it at an NBA level, and they poke the ball free, but he sticks with it. And it's a little bit of a scramble, and he makes the right read, finding a cutting Rasheer Fleming for a 2-handed dunk. So that was something that, again, shows – we talk about the Suns' way, the relentless, the second jump, or same thing with the Rasheer Fleming driving kick. He almost lost the ball a couple times in that play as well, but stuck with it and made the right play. So something that these guys are working on, it's sticking with them, and it's the right thing that they're doing. And I'm enjoying seeing those types of things because we're seeing it right now, maybe not necessarily consistently, but I expect to see those things in flashes throughout the course of the season. Maybe it's against a lesser opponent. Maybe it's when the team is shorthanded. But you get more confidence for knowing guys are capable of doing things.
We did a summer league wish list going into, obviously, this week and what we wanted to see. Now we have seen a lot from these 2 games. Do you have a wish list for the guaranteed remaining 3?
I would like to see Kobe Brea find it.
Hit a shot,
right? I would like to see him find it, hit some threes. You know, one of my things that I had was him making 3 a game, which was very ambitious.
He's got a lot to go up to get that average
The
up.
team is barely making 3 a game.
Yeah,
so
if he hit 3 today, that would have taken our 3-pointer total from 6 to 9.
And I was going to say, like that, like they were outscored by 15 from beyond the arc. The Pels went 11 of 34 from 3-point range, which you lose by 6 in a game, you're outscored by 15 from deep.
Yeah. And the game before, they actually hit more threes than the Trailblazers. The Trailblazers shot 7 of 36 from deep. The Suns were 8 of 28.
And by that
Summer
math,
League,
by the
dude,
way, that's
what the hell?
14 of 58 through 3 games from 3, which by my calculations, and by my calculations I mean Google's calculator, 24.1% from beyond the arc. I don't think that's very good, Eric.
No.
It's not very good.
It's not. So you want to see Kobe Brea hit a shot?
But I like to see the team make some more
like to see the
shots from
team hit a
beyond the
shot,
arc. I like
okay.
to see them make some more shots. I want to see Koa have a game that pops. He's had moments, and he had a really strong second half, and even Chase Allen said that he found his stride in the second half on Friday. But I want to see that from the get-go. Shoot,
you think a better game than 17 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists on 6 of 11 shooting from the field?
I want to see a one that pops. It's like
25-point
like
game.
how'd this guy fall to 30 pop game? Like that was a great game. Like, we can see what they see in it, but I want to see like how this guy fall to 30 because I think he has one in him. But the biggest one, let's go 3 wishes because that's what the genies usually give you, even though Ray J only needed 1.
One wish.
There you go. Appreciate that. Loud that to you off the glass. I want to see the team get off to a better start.
Dude, they're so bad in the first quarter.
Today's first quarter, 12 points, 4 of 19 from the field, 0 of 9 from 3, and that was basically the exact same first quarter we saw against Portland. Actually, I have it right in front of me.
Was it worse?
It was 5. Actually, yeah, it was 4 of 22 for 10 points. So they got better. They showed improvement. Went from 4 of 22 to 4 of 19. 0 of 9 from 3, both first quarters in this game. Went from 10 points on Friday to 12 points on Sunday. Would like to see a decent – because you're playing from behind already to start the game, and it felt like they were playing from behind all game.
And then when you don't have 3-point shooting and you don't have a point guard to settle you down – you're playing from behind, and it's just not going to work. And it worked against the Trailblazers because the Trailblazers shot even worse from deep, right? So you're not going to get that. And against the summer league level, so like winning games isn't the biggest deal. You care more about what you see individually with players than you do really as the team. But it's hoops. We want to win. We want to watch our team win. Like,
of course,
you have to start off better because you don't have the facilities to catch up. They want your computer to get more flair, more stickers. Let's just go ahead and put that there.
Perfect.
My wish list, I appreciate you asking, Gil. Is to see Khaman.
I got
you were
distracted.
distracted a little bit. I want to see Khaman play again. I don't want him to get shut down. I think he will not. I don't think he'll play tomorrow, and I think he'll probably be shut down for the rest of Summer League. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Do you see what's going on the screen? What are we doing here?
That's funny. Anyway, go back to wishing, man.
My wish list is to see Khaman Maluach play one more time and to continue to build off that, because he had a bad first half, great second half, was the best player on the court from that second half. This game, best player on the court from start to finish. Next one, can you take another step, right? Can you do so? Because today you played Hunter Dickinson, which I know is Shane's favorite basketball player of all time.
They had a moment before the game too.
They were dapping up. Shane had chills. He told me he had chills.
Chat, don't listen to them. That might be my least favorite person in the world, and I was glad that Koa and him were going back and forth a bit.
Did you see my tweet about him?
I did not.
I said he looks like a welder. In like the face.
Yeah, it's definitely not the 7-foot part.
No.
I don't think that's the case.
7-foot welder. That's a good band name.
He runs really tight. Like his legs are way too close together for being so tall.
Sure.
I wasn't paying that close attention to Mr. Dickinson.
All Shane did was watch Hunter Dickinson.
You're not paying attention to his gait?
But this is a matchup that Khaman Maluach should have dominated, right? Hunter Dickinson is smaller. He's not as athletic. He's not skilled. Like, he had 7 points and 8 rebounds, right? He's not an NBA player. He should have absolutely dominated. This is not like going up against Jan Hansen, who is an NBA player, I think, and has gotten better and certainly has the skill, the size to take advantage of some of the things that Khaman Maluach is a little bad at. Hunter Dickinson's not that guy, and he's certainly not that guy in Summer League.
He's a grown man, though.
He is a grown man.
He's like 6 years older than Khaman Maluach.
Yeah, he's older, but he's not good, right? This is just a matchup that he should have dominated, and he did, so that's a good thing. Not saying that the Bucks necessarily have somebody that's going to be better, but you want to see that again from Khaman. Continue to build. His confidence is skyrocketing. Let him play one more game, and then let's see if he can get 25 and 10. Right? Let's see if we can get maybe some more post-up touches for him. There was a point where the Suns weren't scoring. I would have liked to see them get Khaman involved in a post-up, see some of that touch that we saw. He had a lefty kind of hook push shot against Jan Hansen, but we haven't really seen them do that. Now, again, probably trying to limit the turnovers, but at a certain point when you're also turning the ball over and your offense is complete, stop, might as well just give the ball to the most talented guy on the floor and just see what he can do. So I'd like to see that a bit. I don't think that's going to happen. The other one that I want to see is with Koa specifically. I'd like to see him limit the fouls a little bit. You're not gonna play him enough to ever get to the point where he's gonna foul out this next year. But finding the balance between being physical and pushing that limit, which Jason Allen. Now that I said that, Jason Allen did say post game that they're encouraging their guys to push the limit.
So they play physical within the legal limit. I think it's not the first time I've heard that phrasing among Phoenix Suns, and that is just a mentality, a mindset, and approach. And to the point you were making, okay, Koa, come in. We need you to come in and play 2.5, 3 minutes. Here's a spurt. Go play. Don't even worry about fouling, because in this game and knowing what the rotation looks like, knowing what his role could look like this year, there's probably going to be very few risks of him fouling out of an NBA game.
Right.
Now, we don't want to worry about him fouling out of the Valley Suns game when he spends time down there inevitably, but you probably won't play long enough to foul out of an NBA game.
Yeah.
So if it's like, go out there, you're probably stronger than you realize right now because you're just 19 years old and you're still kind of realizing and learning how strong you are. You can go out there and bang with a lot of NBA players who have grown man strength. Well, you got that too.
He has that
Go out there and do that. Like you said, there was one play where he just bumped bodies with somebody. I think it was Kobe Buffkin. And Kobe Buffkin, it was like a loud thud when he fell on the ground because of how big and strong Koa Peat is. And he didn't realize that, your guys bounce off of me. So he's learning how to kind of impose that physicality and own that physicality, and that's going to be something that allows him to finish around the rim. And another guy who, when he's playing off of NBA-level playmaking, bump somebody, maybe boom on somebody. That'd be cool too.
And he did a little bit of that. I don't know if it was necessarily that, but he did dunk in that first game. Would like to see him, get actually into the paint a little bit more at some points. I like the midi turnaround, but it's gonna be harder to get off against the type of athletes that you're gonna see on the NBA level. But that's it. I mean, Kobe Bray, if you could hit a shot, that's great. Maybe if CJ Huntley could play, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
He's definitely injured. Somebody said, what do you do with that spot? I don't know if the Suns are going to move on from any of their two-way guys based off of what happens in Summer League. But CJ Huntley is somebody that they've converted down to a full standard G League contract before. I'd like to see him play. Maybe they know that Maluach isn't going to play more than just this weekend, and Huntley, let's just make sure that you're well rested because we're going to need a center if Rasheer's not going to play either. So that just might be it. I'd like to see a little bit of CJ Huntley, and other than that, maybe like a Sam Hoiberg, like, I don't know, really fun steal.
A really fun steal. He did try to pick somebody up full court. I will say it was a really cool moment. Jameer Nelson Jr. got an and one, and you can see in the background, Sixers Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, Jameer Nelson Sr. was in the back. I got like a kind of okay shot of it, but it's kind of cool to see him watching his son play, especially after watching Jameer Nelson play a lot.
I think somebody on the Pelicans bench called Hoiberg a, quote, little boy.
He's not the tallest guy out there.
He's not a boy.
But that's also true. But it's also kind of rich saying that when Marquise Noel is your teammate.
Noel, yeah.
That's a little man.
By the way, I know this is, again, not really off topic, it's about the game, but Marquise Noel hitting a 3 and a layup over Khaman Maluach today was insane.
Can't teach art, man.
He's tough.
Can't teach art.
Any other thoughts?
Nope.
Should we drive back home?
Yeah, I'm tired, man.
Okay, let's go.
I got to pee.
All right, well, we appreciate each and every one of you hanging out with us here on this special Summer League post-game edition of the PHNX Suns show. For Shane, who you can follow at Shane D. For Erik, you can follow at ERIKRUBY. For yours truly, you can follow at Gil McGregor _ You can follow us all at PHNX _ Suns.
I put up the base again, and Erik looked at it like just perfect timing.
I didn't even see
very
it.
funny.
It's perfect timing.
Yep. That's about all I got.
That's all you got.
Yeah.
But that was good. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for Suns Bucks. Watch along.
I think so.
Watch along post game. Watch along post game. So make sure to like and subscribe on the way out. Make sure to follow us at PHNX _ Suns, and we will catch you. SPG is back.
And we will have more Summer League content full on our YouTube channel coming up.
If you haven't caught the, well, I mean, you probably didn't because we posted it during this if you've been watching the whole show. The entire press conference from today's availability is up on our YouTube channel.
So if you want to get your more Suns fix, go ahead and check out that post-game press conference with Khaman Maluach and Rasheer Fleming and Chasen Allen, which you might get a laugh or two watching this as well.
If you look at them, they're laughing because somebody is literally just holding a light directly up to their face, and it is pretty hilarious.
It's pretty funny.
More Summer League content coming to the YouTube channel. We talked to Bobby Marks. That's going to be coming up. Mike Scotto as well. That's up on our channel currently. That's funny, Michael. That's funny. And also just my face is getting bigger and bigger on the screen. And then full conversations with Danny Green and Rachel Nichols will be coming out later this week as well. So make sure you keep an eye out on our non-live shows here on PHNX Sports. Make sure you are subscribed. And before we get out of here, I did want to shout out a couple of PHNX Suns fans that I watched. Shout out to Corey and Rod, who I ran into. Ran into Corey before the game, took a picture with him. Super nice guy. And he's like, my dad's going to be jealous because my dad also listens to you guys every single day. And, I got to see you, but, he didn't. And so as I was leaving the arena, he was there with his dad. He got Khaman Maluach to sign his Khaman Maluach jersey. Man. So that was really cool. And they say that they listen every day, so they've been a smarter basketball fan. So,
shout out to y'all.
Must turn down when Steven talks if they're a smarter basketball fan. But shout out to Rod, shout out to Corey, shout out to everybody that we saw out there at Summer League today. It was really fun, and just come back next year.
Come back next year and come back tomorrow for Suns Bucks right here. PHNX Sports got everything you need for that game. Until then, we will catch you later.
We all silly like the mayor.